The slow burn that State and Night delivers gives you a different kind of meet cute story that makes every awkward or frustrating moment worth it. When it comes to both Carter and Grace, they're having a terrible day. Carter has just been demoted to the minor leagues of the NHL, and Grace didn't get the promotion she wanted because people just don't feel like she has the personality or the talents in order to do the job, which is a job in HR. Both of them end up at the same bar the same night, and while Grace was supposed to be there with her long-term roommate, and Carter was just trying to drink himself out of his thoughts, the two end up leaving at the same time as Grace is trying to figure out a way to kill time because her roommate's deciding to have sex with some random guy, and Carter's trying to escape a fan who wants to ask him a bunch of questions about his career. And together, as the night goes on, Grace, for the first time, finds herself taking the initiative in her personal life, and not just a professional one. And it seems Carter is more than willing to play the game and help her try to understand why her life is the way it is as she tries to do the same for him to less fruitful results. While State of Night operates as a sort of meet cute story, it's not an instant match. The film respects the fact that Grace is awkward, and not in a comedic way, and when it comes to intimacy, even if it's just getting close to another person, it can be difficult. Now, Carter is willing to try, and Grace likes him enough to push through her insecurities and anxiety, yet you get that when it comes to the romance, it's going to take time, and with that, that's what gets you in your feelings and invested in these two. Now, I want to be very clear. The awkwardness in State of Night can be very cringy, but think about it. Not knowing what to say, whether you should allow things to die off or revive them, or maybe you should just call it a night or try to extend things because it's going so well. These are very relatable struggles if you're in the dating world. And add in that Grace is someone who's not necessarily extroverted, suave, or sees herself as alluring, and it furthers your ability to relate to her or understand her, especially if that's how you feel about yourself. And I would even say there even comes a point where when it comes to Grace, you can even see that maybe she's asexual or maybe even aromantic, which is not something you see that often, so it also opens up the door to potential representation, even though to be very clear, Grace is not asexual, she's not aromantic, she's just awkward as hell. So the second highlight is just the recognition that Carter is willing to just be Grace's friend. Now, I want it to be very clear. Does Carter make himself a willing participant when Grace is feeling more hot than cold and, is looking to hook up? Yes, he is. But even when she decides, nope, I'm taking back my consent, he doesn't flip out. Instead, he figures out a way to handle her being hot and cold sometimes, her being distant and silent, and then him perhaps thinking he should back off, and then her flipping it, and then she wants to re-engage. It seems that even though he's going through stuff professionally and he recognizes she's going through something personally, that doesn't mean he wants to take advantage of the situation. If anything, beyond needing a distraction of his home life, you can see the chemistry isn't just about them perhaps potentially being romantically together. It's about a friendship. It's about him recognizing that she's someone who is often in her head. She's finally trying to take initiative in her life. And granted, is Carter the best one to really do that with? Yes and no, but he sees that her getting a chance to open up, talk about her struggles, and not getting that age-old, I can relate because blah, 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 here's my story. She needs that. And he's allowed to dig a bit, and and you can tell he welcomes her vulnerability and honors it in a way. And it makes it so in the long run, the investment isn't just because of how Grace is relatable, but also how Carter allows her to be a person more than a love interest, since he's not really trying to be her boyfriend. He's not trying to be a one-night stand or anything like that, but he just wants to give another human being the chance to feel heard, feel seen, feel like she can potentially be loved, and that makes it so whether or not they get together romantically or stay friends, you want to see something good come out of this. So overall, Stay the Night, and it embracing its awkwardness and even being a bit cringy without making a joke out of it, gives you such a beautiful, heartfelt portrayal of what it means and the difficulty of finding love is, never mind pursuing a viable crush in the process. And that's why we're definitely hoping it's something you'll check out.